Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, and I have been looking forward to this particular topic since this weekend after watching the All In podcast. Let's welcome Mr. Greg Dickerson to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Michael. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. So I now watch the All In podcast. It's actually a pretty long show. They're usually about 90 minutes long. It's four good friends, all of them uber rich. I think 100 million or more, all of them. One of them's a billionaire, Chamath Palihapitiya, something like that. But anyways, their conversation this week, at least the first half hour of their All In podcast, which I recommend everybody listen to, basically introduced a concept that I had never thought about, but frankly agree with. And that is, we are likely in our first economic war, right? It's World War III, but not fought with bullets and soldiers and bombs from around the world, but it's an economic war. We have sides, and there will be implications for everyone in the world, oil being the most obvious, but I'm actually more fearful about food because in the span of about 7 to 10 days, we basically set Russia back, and now their GDP will be down 25 to 50%. They now are scrambling to do things, and I don't know. It was an interesting idea to think about a war being fought at the economic level, which I assume maybe all wars are. But this one is going to be, I think, different than most. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, this one's different than most because pretty much almost the entire world has gathered together and sanctioned Russia. We're now talking about sanctioning oil and banning oil. People are refusing to buy it, except Shell, of course. And
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, and then when they got caught, they immediately backtracked. Oh, well, we're going to donate the profits to the Ukrainian Relief Fund. And I sent them a little tweet. I said, well, why don't you donate right now what you project the profits are going to be today?
Yeah.
And then, why don't you donate 1% of your $12 billion you made last year, which is only 130 million, and donate that to Ukraine right now today. Yeah. And, so we'll see if they respond to that. But anyways,
good for you.
Well, Putin did say that sanctions are an act of war. So he's declaring that he's saying the world has declared war on him with sanctions, by supporting Ukraine and things like that. So he's calling it a war already. The world has come together like we've never seen. And I don't think he calculated. I think he thought he was going to divide everybody. He's got a little bit of support, but that support's failing and it's waning. And, he's painted himself into a corner, and he's removing himself and has removed himself from the world stage. So, yeah, this is an economic war as much as it is a physical war on the ground. And I think it's just awesome to see the world come together and, stop this tyrant, this, war criminal right in his tracks, because that's what he is. And he needs to be removed immediately, thrown in jail, gotten rid of, whatever. So, yeah, everybody's sharing in the pain, and I think everybody's willing to share in the pain to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. He needs to go away. He needs to, he needs to go away. It needs to be a regime change. But more importantly, when I think about the concept of a world war, it means that everybody feels it, and that's why I think it's a fair characterization. Because, again, at least in the United States, we're already seeing it at the gas pump. In much of the world is. I don't think a lot of people have appreciated how much food is going to be impacted, right? A lot of fertilizer, and that's a crop ahead, right? So we can feel that 6 months from now. A lot of grain. I think I'm very nervous, Greg, that in 3 or 4 weeks we may have humanitarian issues in countries that we didn't see coming, that are not directly that aren't firing guns at each other. We may see some countries, maybe in Africa or somewhere, that are like, where's the food?
Yeah. China has a big problem. Russia's going to have a huge problem. Ukraine obviously is going to have a big problem. But yeah, it's going to take time. I mean, this thing's only a couple of weeks in now, and a lot of the effects are not going to be felt for months and maybe even years to come. And yeah, it's delayed through the seasons of the planting and growing and harvesting seasons that we haven't seen yet. But the good news is the world is pulling together to fight all this. From an economic and a level. So I don't know that it'll be a crisis. I think the world is pulling together and is going to help each other out to keep that potentially from happening and spreading too much. I mean, everybody's stepping up to the plate. That's what's different this time, is that everybody minus 3 or 4 countries
Mhm.
that, are still standing with Russia are stepping up to the plate. And again, they're starting to realize what you just said. China's like, wait a minute, we got to feed our people. We already have a problem. I mean, they've already got a problem with their hog,
Yep.
supply and things like that with the disease that they're dealing with over there. And,
Mhm.
so they're starting to realize, wait a minute, we need to be very careful here and, choose our battles wisely.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a couple of things. Again, I hope peace breaks out today. But one of the things I think you're right is the world is more together today than we were yesterday. And I don't think he expected that. I think he expected the world to be divided, maybe 60-40, whatever it was, but he certainly didn't think it was going to be 90-10 as it is today. I think Europe is stronger today. I think Europe's investing in military. We kind of talked about that, right? Defense. I think the world will be stronger once this individual is no longer around.
Yeah.
And long term, that's probably a good thing. Obviously you have to feel for Ukraine, which is suffering every second, every minute, every hour. But yeah, he's got to go away. Once he does, I think it will be,
Yeah. And everybody's sharing in the cost. Everybody's sharing in the expense. I mean, there's people coming from all over the world joining the International Legion to fight.
I saw that 20,000 people already.
Yeah, he's done bit off more than he can chew, and unfortunately, it took a situation like this to get rid of him. But it's just a matter of time. He's gone. He's done. He's old news, and his days are numbered. And I mean, probably literally on this planet, his days are numbered.
Yeah,
because there's only one way out of this mess, and we've seen it play out through history. Dictators like that end one way and one way only: either in a bunker, putting a bullet in your own head, or somebody does it for you. So that's where he's headed. That's where he's going. And I wish I had the pleasure of doing it, but unfortunately, I can't get over there. And there might be some people watching this that might upset, but you know what? I don't care. If you think what's going on is right, you're out of your mind, and you don't deserve to be watching this podcast.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It's he needs to go away. I think he needs to contract lead poisoning rather quickly.
Yeah, it makes me mad. I mean, I want to go over there and fight, and depending on how long this goes, I might figure out a way to get over there and get involved. I'm getting kind of old, and I've got arthritis, but hey, I can drive trucks and heavy equipment, and I can, there's things I can do. And I tell you what, I'd love to see every physical person in this world that can go over there and take this guy out, band together and do it. I want to see millions of people rally together and go over there.
Yeah, and again, we will all be stronger together because of this event. And the ones that aren't, like we talked about 90-10, the 10 is watching, going, we might want to go on that side. And the world would be better off when he stops breathing. And my hope is it's days. It's not even weeks anymore. It's days. And we can get past this.
Yeah, let's hope. But yeah, I think everybody's going to feel it. I think everybody's willing to, and the sooner the better. We get this done.
Absolutely. Let's just play it out, because an economic war and the ripples, the stones already hit the water. So even if he's no longer around in a minute, an hour, a day, we are still going to have impacts going forward. But again, I think what comes out of this is more energy independence. Countries will have more defense, and there will be a lot more partnerships, I believe. Certainly, there is some nationalization. I saw that Hungary, I believe it was, is kind of made it illegal to export grain, I think it was. But I think a lot of that backtracks if we find peace and we start working together. So any other thoughts on this first economic war?
No, I think, like you said, I think ultimately there's going to be a lot of good that's going to come out of this, even though it's just horrible right now. And, we are battling evil. And that's what it is, and that's all it is. And once we reign the world of as much of that as we can, that unfortunately there's always going to be. But I think this example is going to show a lot of other people that had some ideas that you don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, I mean, this again, what comes out of this is I was going to say a recipe. I don't know, maybe a recipe to handle the next one, right? It's proven that we could do it in 7 to 10 days. and just, send somebody back to the Stone Age. So yeah, it will be harder for the next person, I believe, to do this. So where can people find you?
Yeah, gregdickerson.com. That's where all my info resides, YouTube channel and everything. Go check it out.
Thanks, buddy.